At the end, the main hero and Poppy take the elevator down to the bottom of the factory. Kissy Missy, their loyal friend, stays to operate the lift. But before they can make it, they hear Kissy Missy cry out and struggle with another creature. So, what happened and what led to this? Let's start from the beginning. Prototype was unique and capable of many things. At first, he was obedient and followed orders. However, he soon became hostile and rebellious. He attempted to escape several times, injuring and killing many employees in the process. Despite this, the organization decided not to kill him, but to restrain him. It may seem senseless, but perhaps Prototype is a unique and valuable asset the organization doesn't want to lose. Prototype didn't want to be a test subject and tried everything to destroy the organization. He conspired with many other toy mascots and adults to create a group and fight against them. One of his most devoted pupils was Theodore Grable. From secret files, it was revealed that Theodore was an orphan, like many other players, without a family to find him if he went missing. The organization found it easy to conduct their cruel experiments. Theodore was specially chosen and trained for the great escape of Prototype. Initially indifferent to everything else, he focused on finding a way out. Unexpectedly, Theodore used a grabber to open protective doors, providing Prototype with a valuable opportunity to escape amidst disabled security systems and cameras. Despite the chance to flee, which he desired, Prototype decided to stay and save Theodore, who received a powerful shock from the grabber in the process. By sacrificing his own freedom, Prototype saved Theodore. Later, severely injured Theodore was used by the organization, who removed his functional body parts to install them into a doll known as CatNap, turning him into another toy. Now, a doll, Theodore learns about Prototype's self-sacrifice and becomes increasingly devoted to him. He sees in Prototype a godlike figure, a broken monster who, despite his appearance, is kind and strives to free everyone suffering under the control of this evil organization. CatNap's loyalty takes an unexpected turn when he begins to feel a strong pull towards Prototype, showing hostility towards factory members whenever encountering them. It seems he is heavily influenced by Prototype. This leads to CatNap becoming a faithful follower of Prototype, used as a puppet for his actions, such as manipulating other dolls to rebel against the evil Playtime employees and seek revenge for their actions. Remember, most dolls and toys contain the consciousness of children and infants that are easily influenced and manipulated. Many of them are not taught proper behavior and essentially are enslaved and tortured. After the massacre, many of them remained infants and aged in their plastic and fluffy shells, with their consciousness not evolving. Essentially, they were infants left to grow on their own, leading to more instinctive and animal-like behavior. Essentially, they became like Mowgli. Some of them were easily manipulated, but others became hostile and gained willpower. It was a horrific end to the evil organization Poppy Playtime. The toys killed anyone they could find, innocent or guilty. From the records presented in Chapter 3, we learn that most employees were unaware of the cruel experiments being conducted. One time, a couple who had taken a child into their care were deeply shocked and upset when they found out that the child they had been looking after had been subjected to tests and experiments. This discovery brought them to tears, especially since they had planned to adopt him. Another time, Rich, a tough-looking guy, expressed his deep concern about children not getting enough sunlight.
I take it you're not a fan of these plays, are you?
Nope, never liked the feel of it. I mean, don't you think these kids deserve some real sunlight instead of floodlights and painted skies? Hell, we're not even allowed to talk to these kids. Isn't that... Sorry, Stu.
He believed that kids deserved real sunlight, not just spotlights and painted skies. His colleague agreed with him, seeing Richie's deep kindness and compassion. In another instance, a woman named Claire was dismayed to learn about her foster child's illness and injuries from exposure to red smoke.
And in mine, it felt like her blood was boiling beneath her skin. She saw something too. Something horrible. I'm sorry. I don't mean to. Miss Harper, we'll provide the very best care we can offer. You have my word. There are many concerns we must address at this time, and we'll continue to monitor. She'll be okay. Well, pardon me if I'm not comforted by that!
She was also horrified at the possibility of Maria's child becoming a subject of experiments. Overwhelmed, she screamed in protest. It can be inferred that most people at Playtime didn't know about the experiments, and if they did, they likely wanted to save those involved or stop the cruel procedures. This explains why Poppy seemed extremely unfair with Toy's cruel actions toward everyone, including innocent adults. While it's understandable that children devoid of feelings would attack them, one cannot forgive Prototype. Prototype, who seemed like a rational adult, made all the toys, mostly children, behave cruelly. This figure not only aimed to kill anyone, but also killed disobedient toys and dolls, often in a cruel and twisted manner. CatNap, a devout follower of Prototype, committed unimaginable atrocities. He tortured and ruthlessly killed anyone who didn't follow Prototype's strict rules, simply labeling them as dead. These victims included children who possibly showed kindness and compassion, cared for by many adults. He was used as a puppet for Prototype and ended the lives of many who resisted. It's unclear why Prototype decided to stay at the factory after killing everyone, especially considering his initial desire to escape. Perhaps after defeating his oppressors, the factory, once a place of torture, became his domain and kingdom. It served as a refuge from the outside world, explaining why Prototype chose to stay. However, there were cases when the monsters went hunting and took people for food. What unites these dolls is their heightened cognitive abilities. Miss Delight was appointed as a teacher, and the rest who could speak either became leaders, key followers of Prototype, or opponents of Prototype and meaningless slaughter. CatNap, Mommy Longlegs, and Prototype, who could communicate, were able to manipulate others in this way. Some dolls, whether children or infants, easily succumbed to manipulation or lost the ability to speak and think clearly during the experiment. Conversely, dolls like Poppy and DogDay, who firmly opposed Prototype, Kissy seemed naive, which could explain why she participated in Playtime, easily falling for manipulation. Later, thanks to Poppy's guidance and compassion, she regretted her decision and joined the resistance against Prototype, effectively redeeming herself. Despite seeming solely motivated by vengeance, Poppy may also want to free others and save them from severe punishment. It's known that Prototype destroys anyone who opposes him, so it's quite likely that he targeted Kissy or Poppy since they are determined to defeat him and free others considered heretics in his eyes. Therefore, it's quite obvious why Prototype attacked Kissy, especially since Poppy mentions that the last obstacle in their path to Prototype was CatNap. For Prototype, it would be more logical to corner her alone since Kissy is a giant and the most powerful of those opposing Prototype. By defeating her alone, Prototype would find it easier to deal with the main hero and Poppy, who are themselves easier targets. Poppy, perceived by Kissy as a close friend or even a daughter, is willing to risk her own life to help her. Her deep concern becomes evident when she hears Kissy's cries, demonstrating the depth of her care for her. While Poppy appears to be an adult, her age and identity remain a mystery. It's quite possible that she could be Stella Graver, a potential foster mother. This could explain why she perceives Kissy, a potential foster daughter, as a parent and why they share such a close bond. But these are all just guesses. Now I'll show you what specifically happened to Kissy Missy because we can access that place from a different, more understandable perspective. Think about it.